Another thing that makes this film sort of compelling from a audience standpoint is that we're sort of oriented to what's going on. The opening segments are kind of setting up and establishing this program and these individuals, and then there's that switch where it goes from sort of a backwards looking film to something that's happening in the moment and unfolding in front of your eyes. Did that sort of mirror your process in making the film? Was that a surprise when for you the film shifted from something that was more sort of informative about things that already happened to chronicling things that are happening in the moment?
There is a change, absolutely, and it's, you know, some of it was, I think, necessary in the beginning to just explain a lot about the drone program, because when I was, you know, doing my research and you know, I was doing fundraising, I started talking to, you know, a few people, not many, because this was a secret production for 3 years, and I'm a very secretive person. So just within my very small inner circle, I would talk to people and try to get their feedback. And I really understood that many people do not understand this technology, because it is all secret, and there's very little information out there that really explains and describes not just, you know, what the drone is, but also what Lisa worked on, this DGS system, the surveillance system behind the drones, which, you know, is very, very important. It actually is classified as a weapons system in itself. And I really wanted to bring that across as well, and just, you know, establish and inform the public, because I think there is a lack of transparency with these, you know, with this weapons technology, this war technology, and I think it is, you know, threatening for our democracy as well if we don't, you know, discuss these issues and we don't have this information, because, you know, these wars are all waged in our names, and I think it's necessary to have a discussion, and but. You know, we knew that, you know, especially when I met Lisa, you know, she told me in her first meeting that she wants to, you know, travel to these countries that are impacted and affected by drones, and kind of to bridge that gap that technology has created. And so, you know, I knew that was, you know, a very organic way to show the other side. And that's, of course, like happening in the now. And then, you know, something that we sort of prepared for, but we never, you know, hoped would happen. But, you know, Daniel's raid, that was, and then also the intimidation of Heather, the raid of Daniel, intimidation of Heather, that was a real turning point. And this film has one fade into black, and that's exactly in the center of the film, because the raid of Daniel happened in the middle of production, and that really, you know, changed many things. And so when we go from Heather then to Daniel, is one fade into black, and I always see the film as the first part and the second part, and yeah, and then, you know, it just became very, very dramatic. Also for Ines, because she, I mean, this was, you know, very high risk production. You know, everyone in the team was, you know, encrypting emails, you know, material, and then we also had to, you know, prepare a trip into a war zone.
Yeah, so just really briefly, because, you know, I get emotional every time I think about this, because I feel like, of course, the risk was taken by those who went. So Lisa and Asma, and then, of course, our cameraman and Sonia, and I stayed behind. But, like, it was like really the hardest time of the whole production, because I was so worried all the time. And, you know, yes, you see, I'm crying already. I drove them all to the airport, and I thought, you know, this is, I knew, like, intellectually we had talked about it, this is important for the film, we must do this, this is part of this whole, you know, story. But when it's actually happening and you're sending your people into this area and you don't know what's about to happen, it is very, very, you really question yourself. It's like, what if something happens? What are we doing here, you know? But I'm so proud of them, because just think about this film without the Afghanistan part and how important it was. But of course, then things happened. You know, I was worried for 2 weeks, and then of course Sonia says, "Oh, you know, I really need 2-3 more days." Remember, like how she wanted to stay longer? I was like, "You are out of there. You need to come back, everyone." You know. But this is like, in the end, this risk really paid off, and I'm really, really proud of them. But in that moment, you know, it's easy to talk about it now because nothing happened. But you know, so that's on our end. But Sonia, you guys can actually talk about this really nicely. So for us, this was 2 weeks, you know. People live there, and they go through this every day.